Good morning, students. Okay, let us enter into today's class. But before that, we will recap the last week's class. Okay. So, in the last week, we have learned the age of adolescence, isn't it? What is adolescence? The period of transition from childhood to adulthood. Okay. The period of transition from childhood to adulthood. This phase of change is called adolescence. These changes in the body are regulated by a system called endocrine system. Endocrine system consists of glands. So what are glands? Glands are a group of cells that produces and secretes chemicals necessary for normal functioning of the body. What are glands? Glands are a group of cells that produces and secretes chemicals necessary for normal functioning of the body. And what do they secrete? They secrete the chemical called hormones. So the glands, the endocrine glands secrete hormones. Hormones are the chemicals released by glands. Okay. So what are hormones? The chemicals released by glands are called hormones. And we learned that the endocrine glands, some endocrine glands also. So the first one is pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is located at the base of the brain. This gland secretes two hormones called thyroid stimulating hormone TSH and growth hormone GH. TSH controls the growth and functions of thyroid gland, and GH controls the growth and development of the body. Second is thyroid gland, and thyroid gland is located at the base of the throat. This gland secretes thyroxine. The thyroxine controls the rate of metabolism, growth, and respiration, and the deficiency leads to goiter in adults. Next is adrenal gland. A pair of adrenal glands, one on each kidney, above each kidney. And these glands secrete adrenaline. Adrenaline controls the fight or flight instinct and helps you defend yourself during an emergency. Next is pancreas. It is located near the liver, and this gland secretes insulin. It controls the amount of sugar in the blood, and the deficiency of insulin leads to diabetics. Then the reproductive glands. In male, it is testes. Testes are located in the male reproductive organ, and it secretes testosterone, and it controls the development of the sexual characteristics in males. In females, a pair of ovaries located in the pelvic region, and they secrete estrogen, which controls the development of sexual characteristics in females. Today, we are going to learn about puberty. Our body undergoes several changes during adolescence. These changes mark the onset of puberty. Puberty is the process of physical changes by which the body of a boy or a girl becomes capable of reproduction. So puberty is the time of growth in which an individual becomes sexually mature and achieves reproductive maturity. What is puberty? The time of growth in which an individual becomes sexually mature and achieves reproductive maturity. In girls, it may begin 1 year or 2 years earlier than boys. Puberty ends when the reproductive organs of an adolescent become mature. For most adolescents, this is a period of confusion when they are unable to express and articulate their feelings. During puberty, your body will grow faster than any other time in your life except when you were a baby. A boy or a girl at birth and before puberty can be distinguished from the sex organs. Sex organs are necessary for reproduction, therefore, they are called the primary sexual characteristics. At the onset of puberty, physical changes and development that are not directly part of the reproductive system but distinguish the male from the female are called secondary sexual characteristics. Now we shall learn more about the changes at puberty. First, physical change. Development of reproductive organs. During puberty, in boys, the penis, the testes continue to grow and develop completely. Testes begin to produce sperms. In girls, the ovaries enlarge, eggs begin to mature, and menstruation begins. It is a major stage of puberty in girls. It marks the stage when ovulation begins. That is, the ovaries begin to release mature egg cells. Second physical changes, enlargement of breast. The beginning of breast development is one of the earliest signs of puberty in girls. Breast is made up of a fatty tissue and milk glands with the ducts. The milk glands produce milk for the newborn child. Third one, increase in height and weight. There is a sudden increase in height during adolescence. The bones of the arms and legs elongate and make a person tall. However, the rate of growth in height may be different for different individuals. Some may grow rapidly, while in others growth is gradual. Generally, girls grow faster than girls, but by the age of 18 years, both attain their maximum height. The maximum height that a person may attain will depend on his or her nutrition as well as the genes. During adolescence, the weight of the teenager almost doubles as the amount of muscles, fat, and bones in their bodies change. The rate of growth vary from person to person. Generally, girls grow faster than boys initially, and both reach their maximum height around 18 of age. In girls, the hips broaden and pelvic region widen. Change in voice. Body hair. Hair begins to develop on different parts of the body for both boys and girls. Generally, hair begins to grow in the armpits and pubic region, as well as arms and legs. Boys also begin to develop hair on the face, which forms a beard and mustache. Next one is change in voice. During puberty, the voice box or larynx grows larger and the voice changes. This is more prominent in boys. The enlarged larynx in boys can be seen as a prominent lump on the neck, called Adam's apple. A boy's voice changes to become deep and harsh, and it may often crack. Next, increased activity of sweat and oil glands. The skin has sweat glands that produce sweat, and sebaceous or oil glands that produce an oily secretion called sebum. During puberty, the activity of these glands increases. This leads to the formation of pimples or acne in many teenagers. Okay, these are the physical changes undergoes during adolescence. What are the physical changes? Development of reproductive organs, enlargement of breast, increase in height and weight, change in body shape, body hair, change in voice, increased activity of sweat and oil glands. Then, just as suddenly as your body is changing, your mind is also going through changes. Emotional changes. Now let us see that. As you grow, you would develop problem-solving skills and be a part of decision-making in schools or at home. You would be able to analyze information and experiences by critical thinking and handle a new situation through creative thinking. The same hormones that cause changes in your appearances and intellect can also affect your emotions. 1 minute you would be happy, and the next minute you would be losing your temper or crying out aloud. You may feel awkward and self-conscious at times, confused and insecure at other times. All these are normal feelings, and you will gradually get used to such emotions and get over them. This is why, for many teenagers, adolescence can be a time of confusion. All these changes are a natural part of growing up. Now let us recap today's class. Today we learned puberty, physical changes during adolescence, and the emotional changes. What is puberty? It is the time of growth in which an individual becomes sexually mature and achieves reproductive maturity. And all these changes takes place due to the hormones. First thing is physical changes. First one, development of reproductive organs. In male, the testes, a male reproductive organ, the testes start to produce the male sex cell called sperms, and in female, the ovaries enlarge and start producing female sex cells called egg or ovum. Then increase in height and weight. The height increases from birth to the end of the puberty. It depends on the genes that you have inherited from parents. And the weight also vary from person to person. Girls grow faster than boys initially, and at the age of 18, they reach their maximum height and weight. Then change in body shape. Puberty brings about changes in the body shape in boys and girls. In boys, the shoulders start broadening and the chest start widening. The muscles start develop. In girls, the pelvic region becomes wider and the hip becomes broader and breast start develop. Then body hair. In boys, generally hair begins to grow in the armpits and the pubic region, arms and legs also. And in boys, the hair on the face which forms the beard and the mustache. Then change in voice. During puberty, the voice box grows larger, that is the larynx grows larger and the voice changes. In boys, it is prominent. The enlarged larynx is seen and which is called Adam's apple. The boy's voice changes to become deep and harsh and it may often crack. Then increased activity of sweat and oil glands. The sweat glands produce sweat and the oil glands produce sebum. Oil glands is otherwise called sebaceous gland. So this sebaceous gland or oil gland start to produce sebum, and due to this activities, pimples or acne forms in teenagers. Okay, then emotional changes. Along with the physical changes, adolescents undergo a period of emotional change as well. The increase in hormone levels can make adolescents moody and irritable. Physical changes can make them feel self-conscious and awkward, and it also begin to develop their own independent thoughts and start to learn how to make their own decision. That is why for many teenagers, adolescence can be a time of confusion, and all these changes are a natural part of growing up. Okay, students, the remaining part of this lesson we will see in the next class. Okay, thank you.